Sick.
Do it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the
That's all right.
podcast, mate. Appreciate it.
That's all right.
We almost made it
On the
happen
job.
in real life, but
Melbourne.
yeah. You've been a
Yeah,
busy
bit
man.
difficult.
Yeah. What are you up to right now?
Definitely.
What are you
I'm just in the car park of in Foster, Tuncurry in the at Big Air, rebuilding
Yeah.
the whole indoor skate park. So I got the boys in there working and pop out for a quick podcast before I
Sick.
go back in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, set
sick.
them up this morning and started their engines and let them go. They'll be right. I'll just keep
Yeah.
yelling at them from the window if I have to.
How's it all going? It looks like a pretty big job.
It's sick. Yeah, full wooden trails, but like no shortcuts, or, as in like make everything as hard as possible for myself in a way.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
mean to, but it's way better that way. Like adding rollers to everything or blending corners in and making the berms like full pockets, like everything, making it smoother and better instead of being like doing it a simpler way and keeping it all straight with no corners and just doing hips and stuff. Like, but it's sick though. So
Mm,
the owners sort of give me freedom to do that. So doing it the best we can
that's
to make it feel
badass.
like proper trails. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's
It's
pretty
turning out amazing.
it's pretty surprising that it's a good sign, I reckon, that they're still willing to invest in building a like rhythm, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, well, big air.
whereas
We built the other one in Sydney, and it only sort of like went away because the building bit burnt down beside it, and the old owner was just sort of over it by then. I think he got really ruined by insurance companies with it all, and so he just sold the company to another couple up here, 2 hours, 3 hours north, and they have a lot to do with like the Tuncurry and like Foster and Tari racetracks, like BMX racetracks. Like they help do a bunch of stuff up here, and their
oh
sons
sick.
race
Yeah, right.
and they do a bunch of mountain bike stuff and downhill. So they want to do like an indoor park, and then Big Air come up for sale. Well, I think they were talking to Big Air, and then it come up for sale, and
Hmm.
they brought pretty much his whole business full changeover like that. So it's
Wow.
good. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool that it's continuing on. The original dude Steve put his heart and soul into it, and then for the building to burn down next to it and get screwed over that way is a really shitty way to go out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, but he was also really stoked that it's continuing on. So
For sure.
we get to build it bigger and better, hopefully up here and
Mm.
small little beach town up here. But I'm trying to make the design like worthy of travel. So the trail line, which I'll be testing today, I think, like it's gonna be so fun. The little different lines of in and out. It's like half bowl, well, half sort of bowl slash trail sort of thing that you can jump back and forth from things, and it'd be really cool.
Yes. All of a sudden I'm gonna be driving up to Queensland through the coastway, not
Yeah,
through the not
it's
through the inland way.
no, this is exactly 7 hours from Canberra and 7 hours from Brizzy.
Yeah,
So
wow. That's sick.
it's like smack bang in the center, probably 20, 15, 20 off the actual highway. And then, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's badass.
They want to put a bunch of jumps in the car park and a bunch of other things. So
Wow.
hopefully it goes better.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about was like obviously it's sick that you're building Big Air, but we've known each other for a long time now, like since I think you celebrated your 21st birthday, right? At Act Jam. Was that right?
Yeah.
10 years ago or
Yeah.
something?
I think even longer.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
been a
like in
long
my 20.
time.
Yeah. It might have been my 18th. Nah, it was my, I think it
Nah,
was
I
my
don't think
20th.
yeah. Because
I
you
think it was
definitely
my 20th.
you came to BMX games in 2011. You were real young. I remember
Yeah, I
you
was
were,
17.
yeah.
That was 2011. I think I was 17 because I couldn't go out, if I remember
That's
correctly.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was the first time. And
yeah.
then
And
I would have
then
come back when I was 19 or 20.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think I got put on Hara when I was 20 because it was my first trip to the States. And then I think I was at ACJAM then,
Yeah,
like,
that's
or
right.
just
Yeah.
before then,
Very,
because
very
I come
yeah, I
down
think
the
it was
yellow.
I actually do
Yeah,
think it was just before, to be honest.
yeah,
Because then you went
yeah,
over to the States and fucking killed it,
yeah,
the Vans comps or
yeah.
whatever.
So it's
But
20, so 10 years.
yeah. So like, 10 years of kind of watching you do this like just ramp it up trajectory wise with BMX as as a pro bike rider, I guess, essentially.
Yeah,
But now, like over the last, I guess, quite a number of years, you've been building ramps as a business.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about because, you obviously BMX is going to be for life with you, but how do
Yeah.
you maintain or just talk about, you're pro, you've
Yeah.
got this pro career, but then you've also got this like quite flourishing career as like as a ramp builder. How do you work with
Yeah.
that?
It's pretty wild. Well, it's starting to get pretty crazy because obviously the ramp jobs aren't all the time, so they're here and there, and people sort of want me to do this and do that. So every time I get home from overseas, I'm busy straight away. Like as soon as I land, there's at least 3 or 4 ramp jobs ready to go, which was fine. I'd get them done and then, ride my bike, pack it up, and go back overseas for 6 months. And everybody that sort of gets me to do stuff, or new people know that I'm overseas or doing stuff here. And then the stuff overseas started ramping up for building too. And all of a sudden, I'm getting more demand for building and riding. So it's like, I was saying it's like, when when you get that decision in life of where you go pro rider or you go to work and your boss says you need to be at work and not riding. I almost have the opposite
Yeah.
of where I'm working too much and not like, and I should be riding because I still, still meant to be this pro rider, make a living doing that. And I'm just like, here, I think I've worked almost 4 months straight at the moment, no time off. I think I got back here September and I went straight to building ramps. Since then, like I had a little bit of time off during Christmas, but still built ramps every day, almost every week. So now it's starting to become this thing as just like, fuck, I need to like work it out. Like I have a bunch of fellas that I employ now, which is good, but at the same time, people hit me up to build ramps because they want me to build it. So it's like sort of hard to be like, oh yeah. And then like, here's my team, which is still cool. I still design, do all the transitions and the boys know what's up, but they still want me there. So, and then, I go back overseas and do all the writing for film 6 months straight, doing road trips, filming. And now people are like, can you come build this? As soon as I land in the States, I have 2 things to do. And then I might have to go to the UK, to the source halfway through next year and build the bowl for the source. So it's starting the building and the riding. It's like a big juggle, and it's starting to get a little crazy, but nothing too bad. I just fucking work my ass off and then work out the ride afterwards. I've been a little injured over like the last 3 months, so I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna work every day until I go. Just little shitty injuries, like dropped a stud on my foot and sort of fucking broke a toe, and then hips and groins. So I'm just like shit that I can't ride properly, but I can work all day. So and just like wait for it to like heal properly. And then, like I said, once I get back overseas, I just ride for 4 months straight. Well, I
Mm.
try to if nobody hits me up and tempts me with a good time of building something. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually Boyd's off the couch jam last couple months ago was the first jam I went to in 5 or 6 years. I didn't have to build anything. I just sat there and drank beers, and I was like, "This is nice." Yeah. I
Yeah.
just sat on the deck and I said, "I'm sorry, Boyd, I'm not fucking building anything today. I'm off. I'm on smoko today." And I just sat in the background and rode my bike and drank a beer, and I was like, "This is nice." Don't have to
Yeah.
fucking be exhausted. I don't really care. At the end of the day, it's so fun rocking up early, building the fuck out of everything, sort of creating cool things and better things to build. I always want to do something new and bigger and better, or like something to like, like the big curb war ride at Act Jam this year and the war ride. And then, you know, every time I'm on my way down there, I'm like, fuck, we could build this. And then it's just like, fuck it, let's just get it done.
Mm.
But
Yeah. I
the
remember when
building, I love it. I love both sides of it. I love riding my bike and I love building stuff. If I ride my bike too much, I'm like, I'm over it. I'm gonna go
yeah, yeah.
build something. And if I'm
Yeah.
building too much, I'm like, God damn it! Like I'm building these skate parks all the time, and I'm never riding them.
Barely
Which is
riding
like,
them.
at the start, yeah. Which is at the start, it's hard because it's like, I fixate on it. I just want to be like, I want to get this build done because then I get to ride it. So I'll just work every day for 2 weeks straight to get it done and then ride it. So
Mm.
it's just like a bit of a juggle, but it's like, I'm slowly progressing with like learning with it more and more, like not working 12-hour, 15-hour days to get something done, just work 8-hour days every day. Then you get to enjoy both,
Still
get to
live.
get what you get done. Yeah. Get what you get done in the day and then still, yeah, like you said, still live. Like
Yeah.
definitely, towards the end of last year, we did 5 jobs in 5 cities in 5 weeks, all 12-hour days.
Yeah, sure. Far
And
out.
at the end of it, right before Christmas, and I was just like, I'm not working December next year. No more Christmas jobs. But
Mm,
we were all pretty wrecked, and I was like, sorry boys, but that's just the way it was sometimes. And so now we're at this job, and our time limit's pretty good, and we just work 8-hour days.
yeah,
But I still
good.
work every single day till it's done, just because why not? In a way, like
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's sort of I feel as though the only way it works for me doing this is because when it comes to winter in the northern hemisphere, like nothing, everyone's chilling. Besides Swamp Fest on at this time, which I've had FOMO of missing, like nothing's really happening up there. Like most of the boys are stuck inside. It's pretty cold all over,
Mm,
unless you're in San Diego or Florida or Arizona. Like, or there's a part like it's pretty quiet time of the year, and I don't really get that quiet time of the year because I fly home and just start building and riding
yeah,
and act
yeah.
jam and
Yeah,
traveling.
that's
Like,
right. Endless
yeah, there's
summer.
no downtime. Yeah, there's no downtime. Yeah, endless summer. So
But you're the type of dude. I mean, it's like when you said when you start coming down for Act Jam, like the gears start turning in your brain, and I
yeah,
think we're both sort of the same. Like I always try to make Act Jam better, and then I know that you're off. We haven't even really spoken, but I just know that you're
yeah.
off
I haven't spoken for
thinking the
2 months,
same,
but you know
thinking
I'm
the
on the
same
way.
thing. Yeah, I know you're coming, and then when you like this last year, you send me for wood, and it's like far out, dude. Like I told you that I told you how much
Yeah,
money we had, and all of a sudden you got these crazy ideas. But that's what I think. To
yeah.
take it back to
But
like the
when I get that idea in my head, there's nothing that will stop me. I'll just put my own money into it. And so does Zach Miner, actually. We
yeah,
get our
yeah,
idea in our head and we're like, "That what's your budget?" And we ask, you get us a budget, and we're like, oh fuck it, don't worry about it. And we just take our Bunnings cards onto the Bunnings, like Zach puts up the scaffold. We're just like, we
I
just
know.
get it done. We love it
Yeah,
though. We don't care. We're just like, fuck
yeah.
it. I'll just
No
go to
one.
Bunnings and just start I just go to Bunnings and start buying stuff. I'm like, we don't have enough. Fuck it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go buy stuff.
No one knows that about Zach, but like when we had the scaffolding at Western, like
Yeah.
he paid for
He
that,
paid for
like
it. Yeah, all out
just
of his
because
own pocket.
he just wanted to see it happen, which is pretty
Yeah,
sick.
wanted it to be better, and like, there's a lot of people like that at Act Gym.
A
A lot
lot
of
of
people
people,
that are
yeah.
like,
I
oh
think
fuck it,
that's what the whole
like
idea of it is, like Act Jam
yeah,
is almost like
a bunch
it's
of BMX riders coming together to make something cool.
exactly right.
Whether it
Yeah.
whether it costs them a couple of grand or like
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody like it is like I think Chris Beaton said it to me one day. One day, well, we do events all the time and jams and stuff, and he goes, wonder what it would be like to make money out of an event. And I was like, I wouldn't know. I think I go into minus every time. I said,
Yeah.
whether it's the drinking or the building, I was like, I just put my card down and I forget about the weekend. And then I deal with it when I go to work the next week. And I'm like, where'd that money? Oh, that's right. But that's what it's all about, though. I don't really
It
mind.
is what it's all
Yeah,
about. It's
I
almost
love
like
it.
how much do you pay to go to see a concert that you know,
Yeah,
remember for a
yeah,
long
exactly. But
time? Like it's the same
I get to
idea.
pay to build some crazy stuff that I get to see 100 to 200 people enjoy themselves on.
Exactly
And
right.
for them to come up, for people to come up to me at Axiom and just say thank you, and like I don't feel as I don't really do that much compared to what other people do, but people to come up and say thank you for everything and all the building and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm just another rider out here,
Yeah.
helping you out, like
Yeah.
some days I get off it, when it's like fucking 1 a.m. the day before the event, and I'm still building, and I'm just like, fuck this, I'm fucking done, and then the next day I'm like, oh, whatever,
That was
like
you
just
dudes
that.
at Ramp Fest, man. You guys
Oh,
were
that was us
pumping
at
it out.
Ramp Fest. Yeah. Yeah, 24 hours of building in 2 days and then ride a contest. I was just like, the night before it, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm sorry about swearing, but I was like, this is bullshit. I'm overdoing this every single time. Every single time it's 2 a.m. before the event and I'm still on tool belt on and
Yeah.
no practice. It's just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
drop in, drop in
But
hungover. But
yeah. But to take that, like, just to, because, there's that divide in your careers between like being a professional ramp builder and being a professional rider. But what I feel, and this is just my opinion of it, is that like BMXers almost appreciate like differentiating from the norm of just being a good BMX rider, like you're contributing
yeah,
something else. And that's almost what people like, that's almost another reason why people want to buy like your frame or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're
yeah,
doing this thing that people can be like, fuck, he's not just this dude that shreds fuck out of it, but he just built the thing that he's shredding. So I
Yeah.
think it's important for
It's either that
BMXers
or
to
the
do.
conspiracy that he built it to win on
Yeah.
it. I get that a lot at the pro cars. You only won because you built it. I'm fucking doing the same shit. If anything, it's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I've had 2 hours sleep. I've been working for 36 hours. I'm about to drop in with my boot, with my tool belts half hanging off me.
Yeah.
But I've had a few people say that you only won it because you built it and you built it the way you wanted it. I was like, I don't build it the way I want it. I build it because if I don't, then it turns out to be shittier.
That's classic,
But
man.
I laugh. I love it. I love it when people say that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but
Well,
I don't know. I think the building makes me a better rider, definitely, because I feel as though I love riding, love riding my bike, but I love building shit too. So, you know,
mm,
it helps me. It's almost like a break or relaxation from riding, but I still get to think about riding.
for
It's
sure.
like, building even something like Ennison's yard. We were just sitting there. That started off with just a mini ramp plan. That was his spine ramp. And look at his yard. We just kept going,
Wow.
like, I built the spine to the wall. And we're like, we build this over here, build this over there. And like, me, you're sitting down building these big pocket transfers or big transfers. And that's all you'd think about the whole time is just like, oh, what? We'll finish this and we'll hit this. And we'd hit it the sketchiest. So there'd still be saws on the table and things in the way. And we're just trying to hit it. Like, we did that yesterday. We finished like half the line. We just broomed everything off and one layer of ply just rode it for like 20 minutes just because. So the building, could be out building houses still and all that sort of stuff. And I feel very privileged to just fall into the ramp thing in a way. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get to still stay around it. Like a friend of mine that works with me, Dale, he's just like, there's nothing more enjoyable than like you're building something that people are going to enjoy. Like he's
Mm.
like, I'll be building someone's house, and they'd come in and be like, oh, I don't like this part of it. I don't like this part. He said it was shit. So now he's out here building skate parks for me. He goes, everybody enjoys it. Everybody comes in and just like,
Yeah.
you're building a stoke in a way. So
Oh
it's
man,
it's awesome.
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean that's the type of shit that like people remember forever, you know. It's
Yeah,
actually it's pretty crazy. Did you see the wheel mill close down or is closing down?
yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Indoor skate parks are hard. They're very, very hard. There's a lot of key things you have to do. I've been around indoor skate parks and running indoor skate parks for close to 10 years now too. Um, since Ride On, and I go do stuff at Ramfest all the time, and
Yeah.
now I'm doing this one. I help out the people all the time. Um, just from what I know, and it's the indoor skate park industry is very, very hard. Like especially because you're in a massive. You have to have a high ceiling warehouse. It's a big warehouse. Has to be the right warehouse, and sometimes your rent's $15,000 a month. That's a lot of entries, and
Oh mate.
you know
Yeah.
it's hard. And I have sometimes I have to explain to people when people are like, oh, it's like $30 to ride for 3 hours. That's pretty expensive. I'm like, you pay $20, $25 for one game of bowling at AMC Bowling. $30 for
Mm.
3 hours to ride your bike is not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
After, especially when you think you get to keep this place open. Like I refuse to go into indoor parks for free anymore. I try and pay as every time,
Yeah.
just because I know like an entry fee doesn't seem that bad, but it's like everything. It's 100% profit to an indoor park. They get your $30 entry. They don't have to go and buy, you know, say they get $30 pair of grips. You still got to buy it. $15 of that you still got to send back to the distro to buy another pair of grips to replace that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not like or whatever it is. So,
For sure.
but the wheel mill is closing down. There's a lot of them are closed down in the US. So, which is crazy. Like the wheel mill is amazing. The scene out there in Pittsburgh, they have heaters. Like there's not too many things to do out there in the wintertime, and that closing down is definitely a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, it just was, I guess sad to see that sort of stuff, like it seems to be a lot of doom and gloom around, and I can see why. Like it's tough out there,
Yeah,
but it's just a bummer when you see something that is very like that was a bike focused skate park, like it was,
yeah,
and to see it
yeah.
close down, pretty.
The warehouse is massive. I went there, and it's the scene and the people there were incredible. Like everything
Mm,
to deal with it. So seeing it close down, I was surprised. I was like, "Whoa, like that's crazy!" Especially in like winter. I guess they're going into summertime, but you know, there's like I think where they were in that area, like there's a lot of things getting developed or something. So maybe the warehouse is going. I'm not sure, not
yeah,
100%
yeah.
sure, but it's a huge
With
bummer to that
it
area.
is it is a bummer, yeah, for sure. Hey, when you're building stuff, you were just saying about how you kind of just think shit and then build it. Is there stuff that you want to build that you haven't built yet, or is there like, you
Oh
got the
yeah,
opportunity to build like, say for example, the Olympic replica course, which you didn't design, but like you got to build it. That's pretty, that's a significant thing in itself. But is there things that you're like, man, it'd be sick to build a fucking loop, or I don't know.
There's I have like an idea to like build to involve my riding and my building, but at the craziest, like as crazy as I can get it. It's just getting like I'm really pumping and trying to save money to get some land at the moment, even land like even up where you are, North Queensland or something like that, and just build the most insane stuff and ride it. Sort of like those mountain bike videos, like the Brendan Semenak videos. But
Yeah.
I can just go out half wood, half dirt, and just build these insane features. Like some people, like the mountain bike dudes, do it well. Like you
Mm.
just go out and just create stuff in the woods. Like feels like BMX could definitely do that, and
Oh
then
man,
even more some.
100%. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
big manny pads, big, grinder, like even grind rails, like
Yeah,
to like the big drops that they do. You could easily do that. Like
for sure. Yeah,
an out rail to a friggin' 15-foot drop into a lander, like, or you
dude,
know
100%.
something a little bit more like Semenak and those dudes do it real well. They do. He had that little thing where he jumped up and hit like a little capsule thing, then jumped out. Like,
Mm.
but they're those. The mountain bike dudes are good for big jumps and big features. Like if you get a tight feature like that with a BMX bike, like with someone like Corey on a
Oh
dirt little
yeah,
feature like that, it'd be insane. Like a jump to a loop to a jump, or
for sure.
something crazy.
Yeah, I think that
Anything.
that's
Yeah,
BMX does need to have that a bit. Like, in a lot of ways, like I don't want to use the word stole, but like mountain biking with all the videos and shit that you see going on, BMX could pump out something so sick. Like even if you think about
very
Empire
similar. Yeah,
Empire Dirt, remember like in the
yeah.
UK they
That's like
had.
Empire Dirt's exactly what um those mountain bike comps almost become.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of them. Like the Audi nines is half skate park, half dirt,
that's
and it's
right.
just like
Yeah,
was Rebel, um, Empire Dirt. It was
yeah,
like
yeah,
half skate
100%.
park, half dirt. They had rails down like the shit and like you
Yeah.
know. So I wouldn't
It-
say style. They just took it and went with it.
Mm,
Like
yeah, yeah, that's
like
right. They took those sick
they
ideas and
took what they
continued to
seen
go.
and they've made it. What
Yeah,
BMX could have done. Like
dude, you
easily
just
could
got.
have done. Could have kept doing that. Like you just got to find just the right people in the right place,
That's
and
right. Just pitch it to Vans,
uh,
dude.
yeah. Unfortunately, mountain bike industry has a lot more budgets
Yeah,
when coming to things like that. They can just be
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
we want to do this, and it's just like, oh, okay, here's the money.
for
Let's just
sure.
go. Where
Yeah,
BMX is just like, we want to do this, and it's just like, oh, I don't know. Build it
man.
out of pallets, light on fire after we could do it.
Yeah, yeah,
We could
that's
do
right.
anything in Florida by the looks of it, so
Yeah, man. They
you could easily
freaking
do it there.
did whatever they wanted. Build a whole
We'll
ship.
do that with. I'll hit up Trey next year. I'll fly over. We'll build our own Swamp Fest Empire of Dirt style. Where you just
Yeah,
start in here. You got to grind a rail, jump, hit a loop, jump into the mud.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I mean, I spoke to you about it, but I'd love to incorporate features into the trail line at Hillfire. You know,
Yeah, like
imagine freaking.
feels like BMX sort of steers away from it now because they're like, oh, it's a mountain bike thing. I'm like, no, it's like never was. You'd fucking hit a 30-foot dirt jump up onto a platform, blast the spine, jump off a platform, and hit another dirt jump. That should be sick as far.
Oh
Feel
man, for
like mixing
sure.
mixing two of like the coolest things you can do, or like I don't know anything. Even just having like a 16 like even if I did something, I'd love to make like a 16-foot quarter pocket in the middle of a dirt line, just something that's so big, but still
Yeah,
safe, just like in the corner of a mountain. There it's just like a lip to nowhere and then a lander to the left. So
yeah,
it's,
that'd be
you
sick.
jump down a jump, you just jump
Yeah,
this
yeah,
big pocket and then come out the other way. Like
yeah, that'd be
stuff
badass.
like that, like I don't see like the mountain bike's been touching on the quarter pipe stuff, but they never done been touching on any of the like the pocket stuff or
Mm.
you know
Yeah, they've
even like the
never.
pullbacks.
That's
Yeah,
right. They can't do. Well, they just don't have that riding skill. Like
they don't
what?
run spot like skate parks and
Yeah, they
bowls.
don't
Like they
have
don't
bowls.
understand it at the moment. But
That's right.
I know a bunch of mountain bike dudes that I'm good friends with. Like they rip bowls, and like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure it's only a matter of time before someone, Seminak's pushing the way for all those like little custom videos.
yeah.
That shit must be so cool. Just going out to a property, and camping, and just being like hit with the design team. Well,
That's
luckily for
right.
me,
Just
I'd have a
thinking it up.
bobcat. Yeah, I'd have everything. I have everything ready to go. I just need the land to do it. But
Damn.
like one of my ideas is just to have 3 jumps down a hill where it's just like a lip, but the landing's behind it, so it's just pull back,
Oh
but the whole
wow.
way down. like down a mountain on the 45. So you jump, and you just pull across the whole line.
Yeah, right.
So and then
Holy
you hit
shit.
like something like that. Cool things like that.
Yeah.
Because then you could just do an endless three barrel thing the whole way
Oh,
down the
dude.
line, and it'll look like you're doing an invisible loop, like
Yeah.
going down the line. So
Dude, that would be
stuff
sick.
like that. Yeah.
We should
I
just
never
build
know if
one
I
of
wanted.
those
Yeah.
back jam.
Oh
Just
my god, we could
just
just
build
build
one
out
jump.
somewhere down the mountain.
Just build one
Yeah.
jump.
Oh,
That's
I just
like
build
that.
big pullback. I just do two wooden lips and just one big lander. If you
Yeah,
had to
just
do it
have a
so
lander.
easy.
That'd be so sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, so obviously there's like there's no shortage of stuff that you can build, but just
Yeah.
in terms of like your riding and whatnot, obviously you've been going through some pretty big evolutions in your riding career, and the latest one being now you're doing the whole volume thing. Talk to me a little bit about what's
Yeah.
going on there.
Pretty much like I was on demolition and obviously everything's pretty crazy at the market, and I was just seeing what like everything was going on, and to be honest demolition just wasn't going anywhere, so I just asked what was going on, and they're like, we didn't really have a team manager, we didn't have anything going on, so I was just like, oh fuck it. I was just like, I already run a construction team and a bunch of other stuff. I was like, I'll take the team on and like get some stuff firing and get everybody going and get some trips going and stuff. And then I looked at like, Volume and Demolition, a partner company. So they're like right there. And I was just like, what's Volume doing? Like Volume back in the day was this like badass, like bunch of dudes, like really cool company, and sort of just went to like this street company. And Lyle, the owner, was just like, that's just what the old team manager wanted it as, in a way, as a street company. And I think in my head, I was just like, no, there's no such thing as just like a street company. Everyone should just ride everything,
Mm.
like, and have street dudes and park dudes and trail, like just have a bunch of good mix of everything that everyone gets along. And like there's other brands that do like that start off street and then just stay street, but Volume was always like all around riders, like
Oh yeah.
Brian, the original founder, like it was just like a bunch of badass dudes. I hit him up and he's just like, I asked him, I was like, what's it like? And he sort of told me, and I had a good like long think about it over like the month, and I was just like, I loved Colt and Robbie and everybody there. I just felt like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and like like have the. It was just like I was feel as though coming from Oz, and I sort of just get forgotten about. I was just getting forgotten about, like some of the bowl riders or ramp riders, whatever you call them, Colt, would they sort of just get overlooked, and which is hard if you're not in Cali because most of the boys are all there, so it's easy to like do stuff and do a bunch of. But everyone can do stuff there, but feels like I was just getting forgotten about, and I was just. I sort of over it. Like, I could have just stayed on Colt and kept taking a paycheck and just not doing anything. Like, we're doing videos and trips here and there, which I love doing with everybody, but I just wanted to do something more. So
Yeah,
I just
not your
pitched this
style to just
idea,
sit
and
around.
Chris's was like his time was SE was coming up, and I was just like, fuck, that'd be sick to be on the same team as Chris. Well, like a frame team, and I knew Paul from Germany wasn't riding for anyone, so I just come with this proposal to Law, and I was like, if me, Chris, and Paul all come on for this amount of money, like we'll do it. And it was all like all three of us had to go at once, otherwise it wasn't going to happen. Like, and Law was like, yeah, done. Like, no arguing, no nothing.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh shit, this is real. So we all went on there, and like, which is sick because like now we have something that we can like, well, I as I was going on too, I become the team manager for both Demolition and Haro. So not Haro, sorry, Demolition and Volume. So I run both the teams for them, ride for them, run the construction team, build and ride all at once, most every day. So it's sort of cool. I get to build this team around what like sort of would like I don't want to take anything away from Fast and Loose. Sort of what we did with Fast and Loose in a way. But just like just want to put these badass dudes on that are like always down to do anything. If they're like, hey, we're gonna go ride street and friggin' what's the name? All the dudes would just be, oh yep, let's go. Like, and let's go hang out with these dudes. Or if you want to go ride this park, we're gonna go this trail jam, or we're gonna go to this bowl, like, or we're gonna go sit at this indoor skate park for a week and do this. Like, I want to build a team that no matter what we did, everyone would just be like, oh yep, let's go. Like, no, like, oh no, that's not my style or anything like that. So, and obviously those, Paul and Chris are already on Fast and Loose and Demolition, and me and Paul are in TSG together. Like, so we're all sort of like hanging out already together. So when we're on trips, it's super easy as well. And then I have a few other people I want to put, like, trying to put on volume as well. And the owner's been real cool about everything. And, I got all our royalties raised. Like, BMX is really tight at the moment, like in a pretty crazy spot. Not many people are doing stuff. Teams are dropping riders, you know, like budgets are getting cut, all team funding's getting cut. And somehow I got more money for all of us with better royalties and all this other stuff because as soon as I went over there, I hit up Law for all the costings for everything. And I just said, what's this cost? How much we selling it for? How much profit margin is there? And I just went in and was like, said what we should do and what we could do. And he's sort of agreed and met me in the middle of a couple of things. And I got it all over the line. And yeah, now I get to keep building on that and keep working towards it, not just take a paycheck week to week and sit here and get forgotten about in a way. And, I get to help like now as a team manager and I'm looking for other riders. I like understand like the whole other side of BMX of like sponsoring people and like helping young kids come through and trying to get budget for people. And like, like the budgets are real tight at the moment everywhere that I like just give up my team manager money and my riding money to help pay for other riders to film or to travel. Like I don't tell Volume that or anything. I'm just like it doesn't really bother me,
Don't
but I'll
tell
be
them
like, hey,
until
this
now.
person wants to go here. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on now. Yeah. I'm like, hey, this rider wants to go there. Can we help him out? And he'll probably, come. He'll be like, yeah, I can give this much, and then I'll give the rest of it. Like Chris coming to Australia, they paid 500, and I paid like 700, and I just like, but it's worth it for him to come here and film and get everything, and people see him and people buy stuff and get like that way, and and then we
For
have
sure.
George in Greece filming for Demolition as well, and I just sent him money just to start film. Well, I'm going to send him money for his filmer. Um, and then yeah, like whatever it takes to get some badass out there to like get it going is like I don't really mind, especially while I'm working and building. So the riding money is just I wouldn't say play money, but it's just to help everybody else out at the moment until we get all fits, because I've come into this brand and I've made all these demands and now I've got to step up and make sales. And we don't have any frames or parts or anything with Volume at the moment. They're all coming, but it's there's at least a 4 or 5 month buffer before you get anything out after samples. We're not going to just bring a frame out without testing it. We're not going to do anything like that. So there's just this buffer we're waiting on, and hopefully everything starts coming into like the middle of this year. And then yeah, me and Chris already filmed a video for it for Volume. And then yeah, we're just gonna keep that fast and loose mentality of with Volume in a way, and then but still keep doing fast and loose as well. So
Yeah, I think
so
it's pretty interesting, man. Obviously we spoke about it when I was down in Melbourne with you. And
yeah,
I feel like people don't really see, or yeah, they don't really get to see that side of BMX with say sponsoring someone past them getting free parts or whatever, And I
yeah,
think that'd be really interesting for you to if you want to talk a little bit about that side of it and how
yeah. I'm a
like
bit,
BMX needs to. I'll put it this way with an example, and then that way you can understand what I'm talking about, and so can people that are listening. I kind of
yeah,
use this. I use this example about the Credence team. So like the three dude,
yeah,
like Clint, Matt, Matty, and Nutter. Obviously, and this is just my example, but they could have just come out with frames and not filmed a video, or like just filmed like the
yeah.
basic video, right? But
No,
Mola sent them on basically a worldwide trip, like to Oz, New Zealand, all this shit.
yeah,
They filmed this DVD. That would have cost so much more money to do to make that, but then the amount of frames that they would have sold from the exposure that
yeah.
thing
It's just being
gave.
in places like
As,
and
yeah.
Fast and Loose helped us out with this a lot, and so did the Pro Cups. Is like people love like I feel as though I wouldn't be the way I am now if we weren't such like a loose crew traveling and meeting people all the time.
Mm.
Like I know we're in Australia and it's really far away, but like no one in Australia's met Chase Hawk because Chase Hawk's never come to Australia. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
when we're in our Fast and Loose crew, and we're going to like every jam that we can, every trip, and so do the Credence dudes. And like,
Yeah.
there's people that are like, meeting Clint Reynolds out here that are like so stoked, and it's just like that's all you got to do is you just have to be present. You don't even have to ride half the time.
Oh
But
man.
if you're present, it's just like a refresh in their mind of like, holy shit, I met this dude on the weekend. I'm gonna go buy his frame. Like,
Yeah.
or when you go
Yeah.
to the bike shop next time, you're like, oh, I met that guy at ACT Jam. I want to buy a Credence frame because those dudes are badass. They were nice to me. They said hello. They had a beer. They had 20 beers with me.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but, when we're on those Fast and Loose trips, we're such loose, like cannons and like, we're just like paper bag in the wind. We'd just be like, oh, there's a jam over there. All right, we're going, we'll just like turn and drive. Like, and, we just meet all these people that are so hyped and stoked. And I feel as though that's what helps with like you say with Credence is like, and their DVDs is just like, you can bring out parts and all that stuff and do a tiny little team trip somewhere, but like you have to get out there and like, see everybody. And that's like you said, like talking about sponsoring riders and bringing like getting past that point of like just getting free parts and all that stuff. Like, because I'm a very like pretty old school in like when I was like, at least in my old, like the way I come up is just like you never went straight to a pro team through like BMX. I was just like you have to pay your dues, like unless you're already like really really up there. Like if you come onto a team and expect money after like 5 months, like I'll just tell you to take a walk, tell you you're dreaming. Like, I don't care what you won or what you've done. Like you just haven't paid your dues to the company. Like I think the way like there's a couple companies out there that inspire me, like the way Garrett runs Fiend and the way Fiend do everything is just like unreal. Like super old school ish like that, where it's just like you got to pay your dues. You just can't come into this. Well, for one, you can't just come into that team from an outside. No one's going to be like, oh, this guy's sponsored by Fiend. You have to pay him. It's just like, you have to get with the crew. You have to film a video. You have to do all this like cool stuff for like everybody. And then, I hate how everyone's like, oh, this is guy pro. Like what Odyssey did over the weekend or whatever, where like did a proper thing of like, all the dudes wore that. I can't remember his name at the moment, but they all wore his shirt saying you're on pro, and they had a big party about it. Like that's the way it should be. Like none of this is just like, oh yeah, you're pro now. Here's a handshake. Here's your paycheck. Like it should be like a nostalgic thing for yourself. Like you're like, and I want it to be like that. I want people to come into Volume and Demolition and be like, I have like a list of riders that move up and down all the time. I'm just like this person doing this, and like I take, like I said, it's a whole nother side to BMX for me, because now I got to look at it as a sponsored in-person side. Like I get to build these teams, and I got to look at who's doing what. And now I notice who's posting on Instagram, who's not, like how much that means, which does it. Like at the end of the day, I don't really care. Like as long as you're out doing things, going out, seeing people, filming a video, like contests are cool and all, but like, I don't know, I feel as though it doesn't help the brand as much as people think. They're like, oh, but I won this. Oh, but I won that. I'm like, yeah, but like, that's just, you're another like cog in the system trying to win and beat everybody else. Where if you go out and film like a really cool video, like that thing will repeat on the internet and get watched by people all the time. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm blabbering out a lot of stuff here, but like,
No, no. I mean,
I'm just trying
you
to,
need to. I think
yeah,
it's good.
yeah.
Like for
It's just
example,
like,
the video thing. For example, like
yeah.
you
I was
like
thinking the other day because yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of riders, and that some of them, like a lot of people hit me up, and then I'm just thinking, and some of them win really, really. I'm not going to name names, but one of them's been winning almost every contest, and they were like, they quit demo recently, and they were just like, and I was just like, and he's an incredible rider, but at the same time, it's just like, you can win every contest ever, and that replay of that win will get played over, YouTube, and get viewed probably like a couple, say I'm a kid growing up, and I watch this kid, like as myself personally growing up, I watch someone win a contest, I probably watch it twice. But if I watch someone's video that I really liked over like a year, I'd probably watch it 50, 60 times. Like that's just how much worth a video that someone's put time and time into is worth 100 times more than winning a contest. Like if you
yeah,
go out and film a video, some kid or someone will watch that video over 100 times.
yeah,
Where
for
if you
sure.
won a contest, you win X Games, like besides the highlight reel on on Instagram of your actual run, no people will only watch it once,
Mm,
like once or twice.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, definitely
there's never a
now for sure.
definitely now. There's never a contest run I go back through and be like, I'm gonna rewatch that because that was awesome and that inspired me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's
you
very
know,
true. Yeah.
I'm gonna go like I grew up watching Mark Webb, Harry Main, Alex Colborne ramp videos over and over and over. And every time they would wanted to bring a new one out, I'd just be like, oh my God, like Anthem 2, like there's still dudes that watch it religiously today. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of dudes out there probably sit down at church on Sunday and put Anthem 2 on and watch it like in peace, like don't
Yeah,
talk,
yeah.
10 a.m., be here. Like, so that's sort of my mentality coming into like demo and volume is
Hmm.
just like I love it. Like I said, I'm good friends with everyone that rides contests, and I'd love to add incentives to people that win contests and all that, but that is not what I would focus on when it would be coming to like a team sort of thing. You know, like you could go out there and you get last place, you could go win and do whatever, you can get last place. But if you go out there and make me a video that you're stoked on and that everyone's stoked on, I don't really care if it's 2 minutes on or three, or or if you spend 6 months on it making it whatever it wants, and you know, and then you put that out, then you'll have everything out, like all the respect out of me and everything, because I know how hard it. And then once you film one, you'd be like, that was awesome. Like we were there with Paris when she filmed her, like that Vans part, and she was like, this is awesome. I'm quitting everything else. Like I just want to film videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like we have our days, when something takes you about 500 attempts, you're like, F this, I'm gonna go write a contest and just do 60 seconds. But like when you doing a project and you get those clips and you get that last clip and it comes together and you see it, it's just that feeling over winning something over someone else is way better. And I feel as though should be a lot more supported
Yeah.
than other stuff.
I actually think it's swinging around back to that. Like, I think that a lot of people, you're obviously leading the way with it, or a part of the crew that are doing this is like remembering that there's like this whole experience with BMX that is shaped over a lifetime. And it's like exactly what you said with the videos. Like, I'll go on our YouTube channel, like the Backbone YouTube channel, and it'll kind of show you like what people are watching. And
Yeah,
like people are still watching like your welcome to video, that you made, I don't even know
yeah,
how many
because people
years
just
ago, because you never
yeah,
know. And that could be changing someone's life. That could change,
like
that
even
could make
even when you
someone start riding
yeah
BMX.
even when you sit when you sit your TV on YouTube, some people do and just watch YouTube videos over again. You never watch a contest highlight.
Yeah.
It'll shuffle through edits and videos, and like I'm not saying don't go out there and ride contests, because I go out there and ride contests and I love it. I love being out there with everybody, talking
Mm.
shit on deck, dropping in for 60 seconds, having a heart attack, and then drinking your body weight in beer and trying to survive the next day.
Yeah.
I love like that whole side of it, and like it's amazing. But I feel as though some of those contest dudes and all the ramp riders have sort of lost what it is and what they can be doing. Because like when was the last time you saw a ramp video? Like just a
Yeah,
full
yeah.
ramp video. Like
Dude,
since the
it would be
Olympics and all the fee stuff took over,
for
not
sure.
no one's that Dean dude that rides for Colony put one out, and it was unreal. It was so
Mm.
good to like so refreshing. I've seen so many comments saying bring back ramp videos, but everybody's so focused on this Olympic fee stuff. They
Yeah, that's
forgot
very true.
like they forgot where it come from. Like
Yeah.
Mark Webb, Alex Colborne, like
Dude, I
even
remember when
Logan's
those
videos back
Harry
in the
Main
day.
videos. Remember the Harry Main
Like
videos that would come out and
all those
yeah.
ramp videos, didn't matter if you were street, didn't matter if you were dirt, didn't matter what you rode, you sat down and you watched them.
Mm,
Like you were like, holy shit, like this
yeah.
is insane. And you'd rewatch it. You'd almost watch it 3 times over.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
watching like a really technical, really good street video, you'd have to watch Mark Webb's flare to ice at foof downward bin like 40 times, because you're like, I didn't even know how he like got back on the bike.
Yeah.
And I feel as though it's like a forgotten art in the ramp riding world. Like, Pat kept doing it with his ramp videos and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
loved it too,
Yeah.
and, trip videos. But like, Red Bull do every now and then, they do like a little weird special ramp video sort of thing. But there's nothing like defined over the last couple of years since the feast and the Olympic route took over. And
Mm.
like, I think I've definitely said it to some people. I'm like, why the hell is Logan not filming another video? But to be like, his focus is the Olympics, and he doesn't, if he goes out and films a video. But if he put out a video, it'd be insane. Like,
It'd be
it'd be
so good.
insane.
Yeah.
All he'd have to do is ride his local parks or his
Yeah.
backyard and just do the most whatever he thinks of. Nothing contest run-ish, but like, Logan does Oppo whip, Oppo flares, like stuff like that are just like really cool. The Colony dudes do it really well. I'll say that. Like Clint's
Mm.
always doing ramp videos, like the Patarico one from and the Semi Grace one from the Backbone videos. Are
Yeah. Yeah.
two of the only like ramp videos like that are unreal.
Yeah.
And then when I mean ramp, I mean like all like the craziest tricks. Like there's our bowl videos and trail videos, and then like the Credence videos, there's trail video, and then there's like the ramp riding where it's just like
Super
unique
progressive.
combinations.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
super progressive. I don't know. I guess Instagram's a big part of. Not, I wouldn't say ruining that, but like because everyone will just post it on Instagram trying to get the most views they can and the most
Mm.
followers on Instagram instead of being like, oh, I might save that and let's go, get an actual filmer and
For
film
sure.
it and save
Yeah.
it and watch it develop on a computer over 4 months and getting yourself stoked and being like, you know what, I could do better. I could do this instead. I could do this instead. And, and I feel another hard thing is trying to get those filmers out there. Like there's not too many, Big Sal's probably a couple of filmers in Oz, like,
Mm.
but with every generation of riding coming through is a new generation of filmers coming through. They just have to do those videos and come out. But obviously when the videos aren't coming, no one's wanting to make a video, then it just gets less and less. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult
but
thing. What do you think the way forward with that stuff is? Because obviously, I'm just thinking of this now. You're talking about paying your dues and
it will
and
slowly, I can, like you said, it
filming.
will slowly, yeah.
Like you get paid to ride, right? Like when you get to a certain point, you're getting paid to ride. Like how is it that how do you think that it should work with filming and things like that?
Well, like with like the whole pay to ride and sort of stuff.
Oh,
I
and
think,
pay and just filming and things like that. Like
yeah,
I don't know the
I
right
think,
answer, and it's
I
just
think it
something
is
that
coming around. I think it is coming around full circle because I see a lot of dudes that were going to the Olympics / feast route and they've just been slowly drained by the cog that is that monster. And they've just been like since they've left that scene and everything to do with that, like it's like the whole world's been lifted off their shoulders, and they're
mm,
like riding better than ever, like enjoying stuff a lot better, like because that stuff. Going though, I give all credit to those dudes. They're like true athletes. They train and ride 7 days a week, like conditioning training, weight training, trick like the I only know all of it because I build all the ramps for it. So I see and I talk and I'm around those dudes all the time. And one of them works for me, Sam Gibbo's right. He only working for me for 2 weeks, and then you'll
yeah,
go back
right.
and do 540 flares both ways and
Yeah.
back to the feast um and I feel as though there's a lot of people that are in it and they really pushing for it and they've been getting let down. But that's just what that industry is. If you're not first, you're last. Like if you're not coming first, like in any of that stuff, like that I personally know AIS and like the meetings they have and how cutthroat they are. And if you're not in that bracket, they don't care how good of a rider you are or what you are, that you're just disposable and they'll look past you to the next kid coming up. Like,
Mm,
where if you go out and like, so that's where I think it is coming back full circle to where, colony dudes and all that are out there just like filming videos. And, the Backbone thing was a really big eye opener to me. It was just like, oh my God, like there is these rad little crews coming through and going out and filming everything. Like, so like, I'm not saying like the Olympic stuff and all that's a bad way. I'm just saying if you're gonna go down that route, like just like it's tough. It's very like
mm.
it's a monster, and you have to be physically and mentally ready for it. And then if you're not, like, you always ride your bike with everybody else, like,
Yeah,
well,
it's
with
almost like
everyone.
that's right. Yeah, you almost want to continue to just ride with everyone so that then it's
Just don't.
easy to
My
slip
my
back
big
into it.
Yeah, my big trait to everybody that does do that, I said, just don't let it drain the life out of you, like, because you'll just quit riding. Like, you'll get to a point in it where you get into this point, you're not going to make it past that, and you're just like, I'm done. So just go to like the local park or a local jam and ride, like, and you'll feel like way better. Or go out. That's what I mean. Like some people might get inspired by, once someone starts to do videos like Dean's video or Pat Rico's video, like, and be like, holy shit, I'm just going to go out and film video, like do some cool videos. And
Mm,
I'm not talking about go out and make a vlog and film people. I'm like, go out with the filmer, go to a ramp and be like, this is my idea for this trick. Try it 200 times because it's so difficult, and get that feeling from that, and do it over again, and then until you get something that you're stoked on and put it out. And once, that's why I said it's sort of forgotten about, because once when I mentioned it, people are like, oh my God, that shit was amazing. And then it feels like when people started doing it again, someone like Logan, someone like Kieran Riley, and just did the most insane, he pulled off that triple flare for the one video. Not saying go out and do a triple flare, but he's one of the most technical riders ever. He can go out and probably do a friggin' 540 whip to turn down air, and something like that would be insane for a video, like like the progression for a park video of a contest would be insane, because you're not relying off 60 seconds. You're relying off 6 months, or however long you want to make this video. You get to a park and sit at box jump, you want to do the most insane trick you've ever done. You have all the time in the world to do it, and you put it out in a proper video, and 100 times, like 1,000 more people are going to watch it over you doing it in a contest. But then again, it ruins the contest for them, because if they bring it out in a video and then they do it in a contest, it's like, oh, it's already been done. That's what their mentality going into it is if I do this in a video and put this out, then it ruins my chances of it being good at a contest, which is a shitty way of looking at it.
It is a shitty way of looking at it, and I don't even know if that is 100% true in practice, because if you look at Logan's not exactly, like, he does some gnarly shit on Instagram that I've seen him do, but in his contest runs, he almost like tones his own riding down and just does everything at like an 8, like an 8 out of 10 difficulty level, but it's like every single fucking trick that he does in the run is an 8. So then he just beats everyone by ultimate consistency.
He always just holds back a tiny bit just in case he has to, because there's a lot of good dudes out there, and once they pull their run, then Logan knows he has this extra bit that he does all the time. So Logan's really good, and he's very smart, and he's a perfect example of the whole feast route. He's a beast. He trains, he rides, he comes he does it proper. He comes to the jams, he hangs out with everyone, he's nice to everyone, he talks to kids. That's, if you're going to do that route, that's exactly the way you want to do it.
That's sick.
That's, if there was a person to be inspired off, it'd be that person right there.
He
inspires me. I go to his house and I start trying tricks, and I hurt myself. I'm not doing any of this.
Hey, with the, like, we've spoken about things like royalties and whatnot in the over the last weekend or whatever it was when I was down there. Like, what are some of the things that you see that maybe could be changed with BMX, the perceptions of some things in regards to, pro riders and sponsorships and stuff?
Like, the royalties thing was like a big thing to me, because coming from companies that don't pay any royalties, or like very so little to the point of where you just like, I just keep your money. I can't even buy a beer after I sell 100 sprockets or something like that sort of stuff. And so my first thing was going into demo and volume is to just raise, I got some of the royalties raised by like 300%, 400%, because it's like, like if you have a signature product and you should be willing to sell it, like it has your name on it, but you want to see something out of it, and people buying it, I feel like the shops and all that, they're like, I'm going to buy this person, Tyson's signature sprocket because I like his riding, I like him, and I want to support him. I think if half those kids found out that none of the money goes to them from that sprocket, half of them would be like, what the fuck am I buying? Like, what the hell am I buying this for? So, I said, I went to live demo and volume, and obviously it's tough times right now, and went like, this is how much I want for each product. And it was a lot more, and a lot more from like at least double or triple than companies from what I know from my experience. And he was down. He was just like, I was like, you do royalties like this, and this person gets a signature part, they're going to want to push it and promote it. And then I feel as though it'll show, it'll show a lot more than having no royalties. Like, so all of a sudden you're like, shit, I can make money selling my own stuff, not like, here's my signature product, go for gold. Like, you're stoked on it, because you're like, fuck yeah, I got something out there. But now it's just like, you can make some good money from that. And the industry's the industry's hard and like I talk to a lot of different company owners all the time, just from beer talk and chit chatting and a lot of other things like that. And you know, one of them was what said it to me, and two of them actually said it to me in Oz, and they were like BMX is a race to the bottom. Everybody's trying to beat everybody. Everybody's trying to do the cheapest. Everyone's trying to do the lowest. Everyone's trying to ride for the cheap. Like that's like the worst mentality to have, like ever. And I feel as though that, for example, like the construction industry was like that in Australia for a long time. Everybody was like, I can do it cheaper. Oh, I can do it for this much, and I can do it this much. And then I feel as though in the last 3 or 4 years, or maybe longer, maybe in the last 10 years, it slowly just turned around, and everybody said, shove it up your ass. This is my rate. Like, and I feel as though BMX needs to do that in a way. But people like, and a lot of the carpenters and a lot of people in the industry, all of a sudden, no one was saying I could do it cheaper. Everyone was just like, nah, this is our rate. This is the rate. This is our base rate. This is what we're doing. It feels like we need to do that in the BMX industry. And one of them, had an idea. Like, to be honest, Australia has the perfect market to do it in. Like, because there's very few BMX markets of shops / distros, and it's already shit house for us here because the US dollar is doing so strong. So everything's already way more expensive. But even if every shop agreed or every distro agreed to raise their prices by 30% here, like, doesn't have to change anywhere else around the world, because we, like, when I say we had the perfect market, if our stuff's 30% more here, they still can't buy it from the US for cheaper, and they still can't buy it from the UK for cheaper because shipping's still gonna destroy them. Like, you run a bike shop and all that sort of stuff. Like,
for sure,
people buying Fast and Loose shirts from the US because we didn't have them here, and it was costing them $100 a shirt. You raise a shirt here in Australia by 30%, instead of $50, you go $65. Like, yeah, it's still more expensive here, but you still can't get it cheaper anywhere else. And that, I'm not even 20 or 30% is only just an example, but even 10%, you'd see this change that would lift pressure off distros and bike shops. And like I said, haven't been that around like that long. Only what one of them's trying to get it going, and if it works out, you have to have everybody on board, but not everyone's going to be on board, which sucks.
Sure.
Like,
it's I know exactly what you mean. Like, just because we obviously deal with customers, right? Like, we're dealing with Joe who wants his thing, and we are the person who is we're almost like the safeguard from the company and from the distro. We have to deal with the customers. Obviously, we love the fact that all of our customers are BMXers or whatever, but people don't really realize from like a business perspective the difference between even BMX and the skate industry. Like, with a skateboard, for example, if a skateboard costs $110, the way that it got there was because the distro sold it to the shop for $50. Then they put GST on it, so that's $55, and then they just straight up double it to $110.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the
that
BMX
is not the way the
market.
BMX goes. Like,
we're
buying shit
the BMX
for like
markups
$80.
Maybe 20%.
That's right. Yeah,
maybe a 20. I think it's like between a 20 to 30% markup, which is insane. Like, there's there's no profit or double. Like,
that's
they buy a deck, and they double it. You can buy two, and then you can double it again, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and like I've mentioned it to Volume and Law about raising all the prices on everything by $10. I'm like, $10 is nothing when it filters through the system, and only on like signature parts. I wouldn't do it on So then when it gets to the bike shop, and say my frame's $50 to $100 more than any other frame, and someone asks why, and it's like, well, that's because that's that person's signature part, and part of that money will go back to the rider. Because that people don't do that or lost that. When I was growing up as a kid, I got told a story that the shadow conspiracy seats were $10. The signature seats were $10 more because $10 went straight to the rider. $10 royalty on a seat, and I was just like, oh, that's sick. So I got that person's signature seat and was like supporting that rider. Little that I know, I don't think any of that money went through. Like, I like to think so, but I don't think any of that went. You know what I mean? Like, I like to think so too. But even some as simple as that, like, if people want someone's signature product, they're gonna buy it,
Yeah.
no matter the cost.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And
people go out there and buy profiles for $800 a pair of hub when they could buy a colony set for $400, but they want profiles.
that's
Like,
right. And
you
that's
know,
just that
I'm not.
value, that perceived value too. It's not like
Yeah,
you're still getting the same thing
you're getting the same thing out
essentially,
of it. Yeah, you
but
might get
because it's
more out of
made
the
in
profiles, but
USA or whatever, you know what I mean?
like you
yeah,
know, like the credence for like all those credence stuff for like $1,200 frames in Australia over a $600 frame or whatever, you know, whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not saying like to raise all the Taiwan frame prices up, because Mola, like, that's his prices and he deserves those prices because he's stays as USA made. Like, that's unreal, and that's
In
what you want to
house.
do
Yeah, that's right.
in house, like, you know. But I was saying to Law, and he like, and I'm still trying to do it with Volume and Demolition. It's just like, let's just raise the prices by a little bit, and you'll see the difference. And like, you know, for that 10% of the market or 20% of the market that don't buy it because it's too expensive, you make back by because the other stuff's more expensive, and people
Yeah,
will buy it. Like, I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to, you know, and times are tough and things are cheaper, but people are paying more money for everything in the world.
for
But for the
sure.
same reason, BMX prices have to get cheaper because
Mm,
everybody's like,
that's
oh, I don't want to pay that, and it's I don't want to pay that. It's just like, you're paying $1.20 more in fuel. Oh,
yeah.
you know,
Dude,
a dollar twenty
100%.
more in fuel, then, you
And
know,
that
like, just
that money's
because
not
just
going back
because
to BMX industry, you know.
no, like,
Everyone pays
you
whatever
know,
they have to pay for
I
everything
feel as though
else.
$50, the time it gets to a bike shop, $50 on a frame is nothing. You're already spending for it, you know, in a frame in Australia, $600. You're already spending $600 on a frame. 650 is not going to deter you from buying a different frame than that frame. If that's the frame that you want, like, you know, I understand there's some people that'll come into the bike shop and buy the cheapest thing, which is fine, and that's what you want, and that's what you get, and there'll still be those options. But
Mm,
for the frame, you know, for people that are out there that you're getting stoked on putting out videos, and they put all of this work in to get $4.50 a frame for a royalty is just a joke. Like, in all honesty, like, you
yeah,
get
yeah,
$4.50. You have to sell 100 frames to make $450.
yeah.
Like,
I understand what you
you know, and
mean.
that's what royalties are. That's what royalties for. I feel that people don't know, but from what I understand from a few, like, that's what royalties sit at, or no royalties at all. You know, like, you know, 50 cents for a sprocket or something like that is just like, you know, you sell, you know, 100 sprockets, you make, you know, $50 or whatever it is. You know, like, it's pretty insane. Like,
Mm,
and then
yeah,
all you got to do is raise it up by, like, you know, $4.50, and all of a sudden you're getting $5 a sprocket, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you add that with a pair of bars and a pair of like other stuff, and, you know, and I'm not trying to like rate the market to get more money to the riders, but the riders are already riding for like peanuts, and everybody's just quitting and all that. Like, perfect example is like the Sean Ricani thing. Everything Sean says on his podcast is 100% true. Like, there's a lot of pro riders out there that like will watch his podcast and just go like this and go, like, true, true. Like, you know, as much as people don't want to admit it, like, you know, some things he says that are like pretty outlandish, but in all of our heads we're like, yep, you know, like, you know, if you're not riding for that much, like, there's a lot of riders that aren't, you know, like, because there's, like you said, there's that race to the bottom of like, like, Ricani doesn't want to do it, like, Ricani's riding for this much, I'll do it cheaper, or this person's riding for that much, I'll do it cheaper, you know, like, and
mm,
that is tiered down through the market, the BMX industry, for like for at least as long as I've been around. It's just like, oh, you know, I know a company that started off paying people $2,000 a month to not paying anybody at all now. And yeah, you can put it down to the industry struggling and things not being the way it was, which is like, yeah, fair enough. But like, to filter it out that much and be the bigger company you are now than you've ever been, and like it just blows my mind a little bit
mm,
about that side of it. So coming in, like I said, coming back to the volume and demo thing, feels like I can hopefully bring this new, like, put my foot forward and be like, no, this is the way it's going to be. And, you know, for example, like, using my volume and demolition money to pay filmers more, or to send the boys somewhere, because I know, and if it doesn't, if that money doesn't come back, you know, I think I do that because I know if I do that and more videos come out and this person goes here and he comes back and two people buy a frame from him because he was in that part of the country, or, you know, and it slowly starts filtering back and we have more prices on things, then, you know, it will come full circle and it'll come back to me. And I'll be like, all right, like let's do this, and we'll actually have budgets to do this and budgets to do that, and
For sure.
all of a sudden you got this freedom and this team that's all happy. No one's not happy,
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yo, like, and at the end of the day, to be honest, I think about it all the time. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work and I've just used all that money, I was like, it doesn't bother me. I'll just go to work and work my ass off to get it back. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go to, Australia's easy for that because we get, we can easily just pack up. We can pack up shop and just go to the mines and make $3,000 a month. Pretty easy these days. Like, you got to go to, it sucks to do, and you got to sometimes you got to do that, but like you could easily just do that. Like at the moment I see is my BMX money that's coming through, which is still enough to live off. I just filter back through Volume and Demolition or to riders to help get through this stage that we're at the moment, and then build it up from the inside back to the other side. And that's what I'm gunning for. And hopefully with like, I still talk to a lot of people in the market, and that race to the bottom thing, if things slowly turned around and everyone was just like, oh, that's, I might be completely wrong. There's a lot of dudes in the industry a lot longer than me, though. It's like, that's not possible, but unless you try, you never know.
Obviously it's not what has been done, which then makes it seem like it's not possible, or like it's maybe a bit of a fantasy.
Yeah.
But like, I think of it this way, and it's obviously a simplistic way of thinking of it, but and you're not, just to be clear, I'm not just saying that we're just trying to make money off things, but like
That's what I'm saying either.
Right
but
now, people are not making any money, in BMX industry.
There's a value to things, and BMX is getting so low, like
that's right.
Yeah, there's riders that are sponsoring riders now. Like there's riders that are asking questions like, oh, like why, like, can you sponsor me? Can you do this? And I'm like, I can't, because like the quality of things have gotten so low. Like no one's paying money. Like,
that's right.
And now there's a lot of brands out there that are like, oh fuck, if that person's not paying, I'm not paying. And like who the hell, like either at the end of the day, I don't really care. I'll still ride my bike. Or my sponsor stop paying me tomorrow. Like you said, we're not out there trying to get money off people or anything like that. We're just trying to help, build it back up.
That's right. Like, I think if everyone, if everyone's amount of money rose, right? So bike shops, distros, companies, all that stuff, then it creates the ability to not only employ more people in terms of riders, actual employees, graphic designers, videographers, all that shit, but then it continues to raise. So then all of a sudden the amount of money that's getting spent, because you've got more profit margin, allows for bigger budgets for trips, bigger events, all that shit, which then makes BMX bigger again, because more people get into it. And then all of a sudden, like, the whole thing elevates up. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're building a house for 50 cents an hour, like, you're going to get obviously a shit product. You're not going to be in business very long. And
there's a lot of dudes out there that are just like, oh, I'm a pro rider. I was like, what do you get? A pat on the back and free parts every now and then. I'm like, you're not a pro rider. I don't care like how good you are. Like that's what I mean. It's been so degraded and downgraded that it's just like people forget what a pro rider used to be in a way. Like, there's some big people out there still getting paid a lot of money, but I guarantee there's only like 5% of the dudes that are really making good money now. And like I said, we're not out there to try and get people money, but if the whole industry raised their prices by 10 or 20%, the stress that would relieve off everyone, which is crazy because Taiwan raised their prices, but the companies didn't, because they're too scared. If they raise their price, their competitor's going to beat them with a lower price.
Oh, for sure.
That's the mentality. It's just like, Taiwan raised their prices and the new prices come in, and they're too scared to raise the companies are too scared to raise their prices because they're scared the company beside them, the competitor, won't raise their prices.
That's right. Yeah.
Where if someone raised their prices, the other company, like that, there's definitely a lot of companies that are still doing really well because they have big background, the big corporate companies that would never do it.
They're almost weathering the storm. Yeah.
Like Haro, Snafu, like all those companies. There's no way they're gonna jump on board with that. They're gonna stay because they have these big backings behind them. But like the core, but no one's gonna go out and buy those things just because that's the cheapest. Like the core companies, Taiwan raises their prices, everyone stays the same amount because everyone's too scared and everyone wants to be the lowest in a way. So it's that race to the bottom,
Yeah.
where if everyone is like, if someone or someone like, and hopefully, hopefully it could be demolition of volume. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We pull the prices back down, like, you know, like the new frames and all that, with everything that we're bringing out. Like I'm pushing to just be like even 10%, 10%, but through all the markets. So it's an extra $50 a time it gets to the shop because you get it from the wet, you get it from the thingo, goes to the distro to the shop. That extra $50 in your hand at the shop is like, per frame is a game changer. And I feel as
Oh,
though as a
massive. Yeah.
customer and even as game changer, even as a kid coming into the shop, it's something, I just remember the prices being outlandish, but it is what it is, whether it was 800 or it was 1,000, that's still like expensive. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was back then, and prices are way more now, but stock bikes, for a standard stock bike is still $600.
For
Like,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the prices are still there than what they were 10 years ago. And then everybody's just like, well, why aren't our riders getting paid? Why is there no royalties? Why is there no this? And I'm like, well, everything else in the world's gone up, but BMX products seem to keep staying the same,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people, they put that big raise on, for instance, they put that big price raise on chrome parts back in the day because of the pollution stuff. And everyone blew up and was like, I'm not buying chrome parts for like 6 months. And then everyone's back buying chrome parts. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it was at least $20 or $30 more, wasn't it?
Oh,
I
it's
swear
quite a bit more.
it was like
Yeah.
quite a bit more. And I was just like, yeah, 6 months of people like, oh, well, look like I'm not buying chrome. And then 6 months after that, everyone's back buying chrome. Like they didn't care
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bars cost $30 more than the black bars. That's just like a simple example. But
For sure.
like I said, I could be talking shit. Could be, I don't know. There might be people out there that agree. There might be people that disagree in the market. But,
Oh, I
you
think
know,
it's good to just
end
get
of the
out
day,
there.
yeah, end of the day, end of the day, I think we're going to try and do it. And like, I'll just say to Law, like, I'm not rich or anything, but I'll just say to Law, let's try it. And, if nothing sells, I'll just buy all the product off you and sell it out over the bike shops myself. Like, I don't have that type of money, but I'll work it out. I'll go build another couple of skate parks and work it out, but,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
just trying to set this thing that would be better for everybody. And
That's right.
working with the demolition and volume thing opened my eyes up to that a lot. It was just like, whoa, this is how much, like I said, I sat down with the spreadsheet and I got the markups for everything from Taiwan to the company to the distro to the bike shop, like all the markups throughout the whole thing. And there's so much room for growth. There's, like you said, think of skateboarding and all that stuff. And another thing is that someone mentioned the other day is like, yeah, but people buy frames these days, they last 3 years. Like they should be like $800 or $900. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get 3 years out of frame. You're buying a
I know.
skateboard. Your
Dude,
skateboard's only going,
in a
if you're a good
week.
skater, you're going through it. Yeah, a week,
Yeah.
$100. Like
At least
most of the dudes
$100,
that,
$140
yeah,
board. Dudes are
yeah,
buying one a
and people
week.
people don't even blink. They just pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
If somebody wants something, they just pay for it. And I understand, like kids, like we still have those low range bikes for kids first coming into BMX.
Mm.
I'm saying don't get rid of those, but I'm more so just like your signature products for your pro riders. The price needs to be raised, otherwise there'll be no more pro riders. People will still be
Yeah,
out there shred. Like I said, I'm going to go out there and shred no matter
dudes will
what. But
shred, yeah. And
like
I don't know. I just want to
that
see BMX like raise its value. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's
and
so
by raising its
devalued these
value,
days.
raising value can mean monetarily. And I think it should be, for dudes like yourself and other pro riders and shit. And it's crazy to think that you can be a pro rider and not get paid at all. Like that's like a
Yeah,
whole other thing. But BMX needs to value itself higher than where it's at right now. Like,
that's it. It's just
yeah,
it's been so cut down and so devalued that it's just like, you know, it's just, and then people, like I said, people are just getting frustrated with. There's a lot of riders out there that are really frustrated that might listen to this and be like, holy fuck, that's like, and now with the whole demolition and volume thing, now I have that chance to make a stand in a way and be like, because, and La has been real forgiving with it all, and I can come in and be like, this is what I want to do, like save my money this month to do it as that money exchange and do it and try it and see what happens. And if it's still going, like, and obviously then it really comes down to the distros. If the distros are the next thing if they're willing to pay that price difference.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then the distros just have to agree as well. Be like, oh well, they're raising their prices, we raise our prices, the shop raises their prices. Like it's
Mm,
just got to filter through the system. It can't be like
for sure.
the company raises its prices, the distro doesn't, and cops more of a loss, and then raise. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it just has to.
yeah.
You have to have that filter. You have to have that filter system, and it just needs to. I feel as though it needs like a front foot and a start, and it will start like that, and people will start being like, especially when the market's, people buying less than ever, then raise the price because that less than ever will all of a sudden start filtering out to more. Because I never
Mm,
like, I don't think it's been a long time since I've heard someone whinge about a BMX price. Like, I know you were in the shop. Like when I was in the shop, like people would come in and it was only a few handful of people that were probably first getting into BMX. It was like, oh, it's pretty expensive. I never heard a BMX rider be like, oh, this is expensive. Like
yeah.
someone would come in and be like, I want that frame, like, and
Mm,
they'd pay for it. They'd be like, you know, they'd be like, oh, that one's $700. Like there's a lot of dudes, a lot of friends of mine that go out and buy the 900 to $1,000 CCRs and Credence because they want that. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
if
that's
people
right.
if people want that, they don't really care what the price.
Yeah.
Obviously, it comes to a limit. You don't want a fucking $2,000. You don't want a $10,000 BMX bike with like a mountain bike. Like,
Mm.
but
But that's
there
exactly
needs
what you
a
just said. Like mountain biking is freaking ridiculous. Like you can't even buy
yeah,
uh, a fork for, if you want a high-end fork for your mountain bike, what's it going to be like
yeah,
$1,800 or some shit like that,
yeah,
like
exactly.
for
There's dads out there just
one
not even
fucking part.
blinking, just
Yeah.
buying it straight away.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
not saying
yeah,
BMX needs to get to that level, but
not at all.
just
Nah. I mean, I don't want people
30,
to
30%,
confuse.
30%, yeah, 30% here and there, gives the shops a 6% profit margin on parts, which is like a game changer. There were like, and then you'll see your shops starting to like, you know, do like, you know, and it could be a big gamble. People could like, I don't think people will buy BMX parts no matter what, especially if things aren't selling very well right now and everyone just keeps cutting lower and lower. Like people aren't buying stuff because the sport's not popular because people aren't pushing it. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where that
That's
comes from.
that's
People aren't buying stuff because stuff's too expensive.
mm,
Like people are still buying stuff. It's
that's
just
right.
the profit margins are so low that it's just yeah.
100%.
But
And again, like
I
any
talk
other
for us.
any other industry on, just last example, but like if you were to just go look at let's just take for example luxury fucking um brands, like let's just say
Yeah,
Louis Vuitton or some shit like that, right?
yeah,
Like like a handbag would be like thousands of dollars, but the
yeah. But it's
quality
only
of
$10. Yeah,
it's only because of the perceived value that's been put on it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like people value that, so they feel, and then people actually feel really good about the fact that they were able to buy that. Makes them feel better about
yeah,
themselves. You know what I mean? And I think that the same thing would happen with you if you were a kid and you loved Jason Watts's volume frame. You would feel like if your frame was like $200. Oh yeah, that's the bargain basement fucking frame, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But if you've
yeah.
got this frame and then you knew the story and you feel the value when you buy it
Yeah.
and you cherish it, like
And then
that's
sometimes,
part of
yeah,
what makes it
sometimes it's
so
even
good.
up to that bike shop to be like, oh, that's this dude's signature frame. Have a
Yeah.
look at him and like, oh, that's if it's a new rider, and like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
dude's
for
local,
sure.
that dude's this, like that. But a lot of people will come in, and I know and a lot of people would, if you were coming in to buy a frame and and you wanted Aiken's frame, if that thing was 3 grand, people would be buying it. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm Aiken or anything, but
Yeah, yeah,
when you're meant as a kid or a kid growing up, if my mentality is I want this frame,
for sure.
there's nothing that would stop me from saving or anything from not buying that frame.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
totally,
I'm
man.
not gonna look at the frame next to it and be like, that one's $50 cheaper. I'm gonna buy that. I was like,
Y-
nah, not
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
world. Like
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
that might just be me, but
No,
you
no.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think there's a lot of people. So
agree.
you got to open the shop soon, so
Yeah, well,
we'll get
let's
a
just
little.
before we, we'll finish off with the industry talk and what do you got planned for the next few months? You building more riding bikes?
Yeah, finish this build and then I fly back to the US middle of March. Um, Go over there, do a bunch of stuff, San Diego, go out to Pat Casey's ramps and fix them up and get it all freshened up for the year.
Oh, cool.
Um, Couple of filming trips, couple of riding trips. Big Europe trip this year, I think, from like May, June, July. maybe a bit longer, and then I
Oh,
might have to
sick.
go to the source and build a bowl there for the contest, like redo the whole source bowl
Yep.
for Bala Hastings, possibly. Couple of ramp jobs in the US. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do
Mm.
Rumble and Richmond again for sure, and then come all the way. Got to rearrange the BMX course here, so I might have to fly back through the middle of everything
Yeah,
for the
sure.
Olympic course here possibly, and just trying to juggle running 5 businesses and riding still every day. So
Well, you're
I'll
making
get
it happen, man. You've been
making it
making it
happen,
happen. Yeah.
trying to make all things happen and make it better for it. Pretty much leaving things better than the way I left it in a way. So
Yeah, sick.
just trying to get things going. And then
Yeah.
obviously ACJAM. So try and wrangle the troops around the world and put them all into a plane and bring them
Yeah.
straight back to ACT Jam. So that would
Yeah,
be, I've
sick.
already talked to a few people. So that's the plan.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Well, I love
Yeah.
what you're doing, dude, and I'm excited to stock your frame and all the
Yeah.
parts when it comes out, and hopefully I can see you in between somewhere along the line. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be excited to see what you're building, what you're riding,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Whatever. I'm sure
hopefully I can
more
get off
stuff
a
will come.
Foster.
Yeah. Oh man, definitely. It
Foster
will be,
Tuncurry, the new BMX freaking mecca by the sounds of it.
oh man, it'd be pretty sick. So
Yeah.
cool little coastal town to stop in on. So it'd be
Yeah,
good.
bloody
But
oath.
I'd talk for hours otherwise. So I better get
Yeah.
back to those boys are probably hurting in there without me in there. So
Yeah.
they're probably laying on their backs, probably
Longest
smacking the
smoker
hammer
they've
on the
ever had.
yeah, they're probably whacking the hammer on the ground make it sound like they're working. I'll probably walk in
Yeah.
and they're probably drinking already.
Yeah, for
But
sure. Sick, man.
all right, mate.
Awesome, dude.
All
Well,
right,
yeah,
I'll talk to you
appreciate it, brother. See you, mate.
anytime, mate. See ya.